He needs like the Transformer sound when he does that. It'd be like, it'd be cooler. Low tech. So yeah, just hanging out, talking with the guys with the Ferraris. They're all friendly. Ferrari, there's mostly Porsches, one Ferrari. And then they have the Nissan GTR. Not familiar with that car, I haven't heard much about it. Looks nice enough though. Yeah. Would I ever buy a sports car? I honestly would have to like win the lottery, you know. It would have to be like, totally cash that I didn't in any way, shape, or form need. Like I'd have to have like I don't know, like $1 million in the bank or so. Like if I had $1 million in the bank, then maybe I could. And even then, no, not even. I'd need a couple of $1 million in the bank, and then I could maybe justify spending $100,000 on a car, you know, on a sports car. Because, yeah, if I had anything less than a couple of $1 million in the bank, then $100,000 would just be wasteful to spend on a car. Especially when I could spend, you know, a fraction of that, you know, a fraction of $100,000, and get a quicker and more exciting motorcycle. You know, what's the point in spending a shitload of cash? You know, so like I said, yeah, if the money was totally disposable, just extra money that I wouldn't necessarily need in the future, then I could see myself getting a sports car just for the show off factor, just for the sake of owning one. Oh, it's funny, in Taiwan just became like 60 years ago, or not even, less than that, maybe 40. That was a big wave. Was he telling me to slow down? Like 40 years ago in Taiwan, roughly, Taiwan was still poor. Like we're talking like everyone rode bicycles and shit. Like, yeah, like it was like Vietnam or another, you know, very poor Asian country. It was, yeah. So, but it was funny because what happened is, and this was very common, and even as recent as like 15 years ago, you get people who would go out and buy Mercedes and BMWs, other expensive cars, because that's what rich people do. And they wouldn't drive them because they didn't know how. They didn't have a driver's license because, you know, maybe they came into, because Taiwanese 40 years ago were poor, and then about 15 years ago they were rich. Like the country just came into money very quickly. So you had a lot of Taiwanese who went from being poor to being very rich in a very short amount of time. So when they were poor, they probably rode a bicycle or a small scooter, and then all of a sudden the next thing you know, they're rich and they can afford any car they want, but they've never driven a car before. So they go out and they buy a Mercedes, and then they just leave it in their garage, and that way they can say to people, yeah, I own a Mercedes, and they can take them to the garage and show them the car, but they don't know how to drive it, so they just don't. And that was very common here maybe 20 years ago. And I've heard about it as recent as like 10 years ago. And those guys should be catching up to me soon because they're quicker than quick and I'm going slow. I thought they were going to this reserve earlier, the reservoir reserve, but they didn't. I keep looking at, you know, like, and if I was going to get a car, it would be, if I was going to get a different car, it wouldn't be a sports car, obviously. It would be something more practical because I have a son, and hopefully as my son gets older, we'll ride bikes and stuff more. I'd like to get something and then put it like a bike rack on the back, maybe like a, you know, like an SUV or something. Although, you know, as a motorcyclist, I feel weird saying that I want to buy an SUV because most people just say that they're a waste of space. Most motorcyclists. And they complain about the fact that they hinder view and whatnot. But I don't know. I like the added safety, especially, you know, in Taiwan, and I like, and especially with having a son. And I like the extra room, considering I have 2 dogs. My Suzuki Swift, man, I got a bass box in the rear. And a bass box, subwoofer. I don't know. I've got a subwoofer in a box. It's called a bass box, right? And yeah, I got no room in the trunk for anything else. Once I put that subwoofer in the trunk of the car, in the boot, that took up like the majority of the space. So. It's horrible. Like I pick people up from the airport and they're like, "Oh, can I put?" You know, they want to put their bags in the back of my car. I'm like, it's already full. I've got a speaker in there, so it's already full. It's a joke. So yeah, so I end up putting bags in the back seat, and you know, so good luck having like 3, 4 people in your car and luggage. There's no space. So I'm kind of already sick of that. Okay, well, where the fuck are these guys, man? Well, let's do the fun thing. Ride back and find them. And then once they pass by, I can make a U-turn and try to catch them again. Back in the day, man, when I was younger and I used to ride more crazily, I would do this regularly. I'd ride with a group. I'd leave them behind. Like, I didn't leave this group behind. They weren't ready, and I left first. But I'd be riding with the group, and then I'd take off, and I'd leave the group behind. And I'd ride by myself for a bit, and then I'd get worried that I might lose the group, because maybe, you know, they're going to turn off or something. So then I'd make a U-turn, head back, pass them, make another U-turn, catch up to them again, ride with them for a bit, and then leave them again. Have to be very careful here. Yeah, we're fine. And now it's going to be fun because the guy I was talking with the most in this group was the leader of the group. So I'm going to try my best to catch up to the leader. Which means I get to pass the rest of the group. Actually, they're all just doing a nice, smooth pace. Fuck it. I'm thinking they're going kind of slow. It's not polite of me to pass them and cut in line. And then I thought, well, fuck it. I want to, so. Because I want to be behind that first guy in the group. Because when he takes off, he's gone, man. And if I'm further back in the group and he decides to take off, then I can't catch up with him because I'm stuck in the group. See, once he starts riding a bit quick, it's difficult to catch. So.